You are now listening to Talking Transparency, the podcast where transparents talk transparently. Hosted by Thea Ross, Melissa Luxon, and Cody Connor.
And welcome back to Talking Transparency. I'm Cody.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Thea.
And tonight, I guess we could start off with talking about our last trans family dinner.
Yes, which I missed, unfortunately.
Yeah, you missed it, but
I did.
Not a lot of other people did. It was
I know.
huge.
It was huge.
I don't know what it was. I think it might have been that it was actually Hitler's birthday, but
That definitely.
that wasn't what brought people out, honestly. I think it was Easter. It was 420 this past with the Sunday before last.
Mm-hmm.
No, this past Sunday. And we had a wonderful time. 91 people ultimately showed up, which is one of the largest trans family dinners we've had since the Chrysler Museum at the end of last year.
I think it is the largest. I think that's bigger than the Chrysler.
I think it was just slightly bigger.
I think
just
it was
slightly.
bigger, a little bit bigger than the.
And it was amazing. I mean, really, we had the tent out back. The cornhole was going. It was a great time. And we're about to get ready to do it again this next month.
Yes.
May 18th.
18th. What is the theme for May 18th?
In May, we're going to be out at the Life Center's location in Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. on that Sunday, and we're going to be bringing out all sorts of fresh foods. We're going to get like a big spread from the Costco. We're going to get fresh foods, chickens, salads, fresh veggies, all that sort of stuff. And we're going to have a whole slew of different games. I think we're going to get that giant Tetris game. You know, that I don't know if you've seen it. It was like rocks back and forth. I'm not sure. All I know is that it's very tactile. It's very kid friendly.
I love that. Oh, I love like the giant Connect Fours.
Yes.
You know those big giant Connect Four games?
Mm-hmm.
Those are super fun to play too. Anybody, if you know of a giant Connect Four, you can donate it to the Kalos Coalition.
Yes, please. We would like a giant Connect Four. Even if you're missing plates, I'm sure we could probably make plates or not plates. I guess they're like little checkers,
little
checkers.
Chips.
Yep, little chips.
That's what we call them. But no, either way, it was amazing time, and it was wonderful to see everyone to check in. I know there was a lot of anxiety built up around April 20th. Like leading up to the week, there was a lot of people on social media, a lot of people in the news talking about, oh, that's going to be the day. It's going to be the day that Trump is going to escalate, all sort of stuff. And I was just really super grateful to have our amazing team, our family come together, know that people were going to show up. And then I feel like everyone else in the community showed up too. And it really was special. Hopefully we'll be able to share some pictures. So follow us on kaloscoalition.com if you'd like to see. And then also, if you'd like to get involved, you can go to kaloscoalition.com/TFD. You can go to our encrypted sign up form and you can get all the information to sign up for our upcoming ones for May as well as July. We don't do them in June because there's so many other things going on in June, Pride events and other opportunities for community engagement. But we will be back at it in July. So sign up now.
Awesome.
It is. And it's great. I mean, I know Easter and all of that was going on, but the dinners have just been getting bigger and bigger. Regardless of what day they're happening on. We're just getting more and more people coming.
Well, I think people are needing community.
Yeah, people are. And they're finding it. And so it's great to be a part of that. Speaking of something else, if anybody's watching wants to spread the word, the Rainbow Prom.
Yes.
Somewhere Over the Wicked Rainbow is going on this Friday.
Yes.
So if you're in the Hampton Roads area and you haven't got your tickets yet.
13 to 18, right?
13 to 18, I believe it is.
Rainbow Prom.
And so great opportunity for LGBTQ kids to get together and do regular prom in a safe space.
That's awesome. There's also at Mount Trashmore a mental health awareness rally this weekend too. So there's all kinds of things.
Plenty of stuff to be.
Plenty of stuff. The state of our school board situation. My TikTok. I put my speech on TikTok on Friday night, and it just went bananas. Which has been amazing. I've been getting text messages and people telling me they saw my TikTok, and it's been great because people need to know what's happening. I don't think that people are as in touch with their local We're so enamored and wrapped up in what's going on with federal that I mean, that's I would say generally all the time, but that's like not true. Hello, Navy. Sorry for the jet noise.
I think that's fair. I think people are overly focused on state and federal races in general, and don't like just historically, like over like in a democratic system, in the American democratic system.
Right. But now, even so, like I feel like everybody knows that there's something going on, at a federal level. Whether they're they may be only turning into Fox News or whatever. There's just even more focus, I think, on the federal right now of what's actually going on in government. And so people are really missing the fact that, the Virginia Beach School Board, which is, so many people had no idea that they were MAGA majority. And I mean, that was a direct response to COVID, is how they ended up getting elected. And they are just, I mean, it's been one thing after another. All I keep saying like lately is I can't wait until January 2027 when I never have to show up to a school board meeting again. Not at least in a bad way. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I want to, fine. But like, these people have got to go. And so they have called a special meeting. So if you're in Virginia Beach and you listen to our podcast or you watch, there is a special meeting on Tuesday, May 6th, that has been called by the Democrats on the school board. They want to have a public meeting, I guess, to talk about like rescinding or revote, to
sounds like a revoke for the whether or not they're going to suspend the equity policies.
That is correct. And so what is interesting is that I have heard that only Kathleen Brown, the chair, will be there. She's a Republican, and the other board members will not. And so at least that's the rumor. Now, they'll probably use excuses about it wasn't a planned meeting, blah, 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 whatever. But the reality is I think that they are planning on not attending because if they don't attend, they will not have quorum. And as a body, an elected body, an official government body, they follow stupid Robert's rules, whatever, of order. And so the formalities of that. And so you have to have, I think quorum on the board is 7 or maybe 8. It's either 7 or 8. I don't know.
Pretty sure that can be amended by bylaws, so we'd have to look it up.
Yeah, we'd have to look at their bylaws. Yeah, whatever their bylaws say for the quorum. So it's 7 or 8.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And so that is happening on the 6th. I don't think that they will have the votes to suspend what they've already done, which is obviously going to open them up for lawsuits, which I think is maybe where parents, if they're going to come and speak, you need to be vocal about your willingness to get in on a lawsuit. If you're willing, then I think you need to tell them as such publicly, because I mean, we haven't even talked about the May 13th meeting, which is where we have information on the equity policy. So in 2020, August of 2020, I went back and listened to some of the speakers in August of 2020 about this equity policy that they were instituting. Holy cow. Annie Palumbo, you got all the anti-maskers. Annie calling herself out for being a racist or being called a racist or some, I don't know. And then she pops in a story about her son. I mean, I just was like, what is this is a Twilight Zone. But just listening to those speakers, and a lot of them were online. So they passed the equity policy, 5 pages. After the last meeting, which was April 22nd, on April 23rd, there was a policy review committee. The policy review committee meeting, they were going to review the equity policy from 2020. They literally took it from 5 pages to a paragraph. There was so much redlined that you couldn't even make out what the sentences would be without actually just writing it down and putting it, like, to put it together. It was so
did
butchered.
everything but have the courage to actually just remove it.
Yeah, they exactly. They that's exactly, like, it would have served you better if you just would have put a void stamp on there or something. You know what I mean? Like, that was fucking wild to see. And of course it's just got people enraged.
Rightfully so. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't understand what the problem is with equality or diversity or inclusion or any sort of accessibility in our schools in Virginia Beach. We're the largest city in the state of Virginia Beach. I mean, sorry, state of Virginia.
Yep.
And there are so many people here, and we also have so many people from so many different walks of life and background. We're one of the oldest areas. We have First Landing State Park. People forget it, but like this area of the world is like of the country has been around hundreds of years long, 100+ years longer than some places on the West Coast. And then beyond that, we have the military bases. We bring folks from all around the world. So this idea that we're in any way not going to be one of the most diverse and open and inclusive school districts is an insult to every single person that lives here, that comes to live here, that works here, that serves here.
Yep.
And then they took everything and basically distilled it down to, what was the line? As it applies to our core values.
Yeah. Well, what are your values?
Well, so I looked up the core values.
Yeah. Okay.
As soon as I saw that, okay, so then what are the core
What are the
values?
core values?
Right? Put students first, which they never seem to live up to that one. Seek growth, right? Continuous learning, pursuing formal and informal learning opportunities, personal growth. Be open to change, encouraging new ideas or improved ways of teaching. Do great work together, collaboration, working together and building partnership. And here's this last one here. Value differences. Fostering a trusting, open, ethical, honest, and inclusive environment where diversity of thought and individual contributions are prized.
Stop. The only thing missing in that sentence is equity.
It's like they can't even tank right.
I mean, everything about what they've done has been, well, I mean, not just awful, but like not done well. Like that resolution that Brown wrote, that Culpeper presented.
Bad actions executed poorly.
Exactly. Yep. You sure did get a business administration degree from Reject University or Liberty or whatever. DeVry.
ITT Tech.
Whatever.
Career connection. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just all around bad. So there's this, and they intentionally did this, knowing full well that there was going to be a packed city council meeting on May 6th because of the vote for the ballot resolution, which, I mean, I already know what's going to happen. They're going to vote for, or not resolution, ballot referendum. We already know that they're going to do a ballot referendum.
Yeah, I already know they're going to vote for it.
So, whatever. I don't need to go to city council. But still, they do that on purpose, right? Because there's people that are going to be wanting to speak at city council and not jaded like me, who really believe that their one speech might just do the trick. I know, I was there one time too, and this is the reason why I just go torment them, because I know they don't give a shit about what I have to say, and I'm not changing any hearts and minds anyways.
No, I mean, how could you? So it's right. You have this whole group of people that thinks we're moving in the right direction, right?
Yeah. Thank God it's at 37% right now.
How many times has Trump gone bankrupt?
6.
6 times.
6
times, but
sued by the federal government 5 times for being a racist.
But the direction he chooses on economics, probably.
Yeah,
that's sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Genius.
He's the champion of women's rights, right? That's protect the women
by grabbing them by
somebody should have told him about that before he got found.
Yep. Civilly liable for
guilty in court
assault.
Civilly.
Yes, exactly.
The documented history of racism and discrimination, the lawsuits.
Yeah, they don't care about any
They don't care any of that. He's definitely the guy to talk about.
It's for the economy. It doesn't matter. It's like
human rights. Like he's
Oh.
The push for that's why diversity, equity, and inclusion's got to go is because that's racist.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he would know.
And he absolutely would know. Yep. Yeah. Did you? I mean, I don't know if you saw that they are trying to give ICE and CBP like $150 billion or some shit, and 45 of it is to go to literal. It literally says, it doesn't say concentration
internment
camps, but
does it say internment or detainment centers?
Detainment centers. Yeah. It like.
Did you see the video of the SOS?
Yes, that happened. Yes. The SOS from the isn't it
30 or 40 people at the
Louisiana or Texas? I think it was Louisiana detention facility where I think the same place the woman died.
Yep. Forming a human SOS into the sky.
Yeah. Wow. So a Reuters drone.
Yeah.
Flew over, so they formed SOS.
Wow. That is terrifying. Honestly,
in America.
Welcome to America, y'all. 2025. I don't know what to say. I guess welcome is not the right word.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Turn around.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you just came here, turn around. If you think about coming here, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, yeah, this isn't you don't want to immigrate here anymore anyway.
Dude, China's starting to recruit Americans. It's hilarious. Literally, China's trying to recruit Americans to come live there.
Yeah, we were a joke during his first term, and we've immediately become worse than a joke during his second term. Like within the first 100 days, the only thing he can say is that he shut the border, and nobody wants to come here now anyway because everything's about to skyrocket in price.
Yep.
You know, we're about to go into a recession.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the GDP dropped 0.3%.
Did you see the ship trackers at the Port of Los Angeles?
Oh,
and the Port of Norfolk?
Yeah.
And seeing have you seen those ship trackers what it looks like out in China and their main ports?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the difference is like thousands of ships.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah, Americans are about to find out just how spoiled they are.
Yeah. Donald Trump said today, kids, you heard him today, he said, kids are just going to have to be okay with 2 dolls instead of 30. So basically, Donald Trump just told the entire country that we're spoiled, and he's like, you can't have the things.
You're not going to be able to afford the things that you want anymore. You're going to have to buy less because it's going to be more expensive.
And you can't.
So it's not even let them eat cake. It's just like let them eat dirt.
Right, exactly.
Let them just eat less.
Yes.
Oh,
yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And that's what it's gonna be like too. Like people.
But like it literally like you're saying that to the people that are like, don't tell me what to do. There's literally nothing worse to a conservative or Republican than to tell them what to do. They want to tell people what to do, but they do not want to be told what to do. So Donald Trump being like, yes, sorry, suck it. Your kids, you can't get your kids 30 dolls anymore. That is going to backfire on him exponentially. Rich people don't like to be told that they can't spend their money.
I think it's worse that rich people don't like that, like they can't spend their money, or when they go to spend their money, it's like, oh, the dolls now cost like $500 a piece, and my cell phone costs $5,400 or something crap like that.
Here's the thing: is the rich people aren't going to be.
I mean, they're not. The rich people aren't affected. They are not going to tolerate. It's not even the rich people. It's the people who are like think they're rich, but really they're like a couple paychecks away from like being poor. Though it's those people, which is a huge chunk of his base.
Yeah. It's a huge chunk of America.
And it is a huge chunk of America.
A huge chunk of America. The middle class is going to be
middle class?
Yeah, well, the the middle class,
Yeah.
the upper poverty class.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was I reading? Temu just upped a bunch of prices on stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, Temu is showing it's like a surprise at the end. I don't shop at Temu, but I
don't think I've ever bought anything there,
but I heard it's a surprise at the end because they're like, it's all cheap, and then you get there and they have the tariff price.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. When you think about it, like Bezos was talking about doing this on Amazon, but he backed down, right? He was talking about putting on every single thing you could see what it is.
Wanted to sue him for it.
But it's so crazy to me because we used to have in this country, like, here's your receipt for your purchases, and we're going to itemize what the taxes are that you're paying on this purchase.
This is why you paid for. This is what you paid for.
And you see, that seems very American to me. Why? Because we rebuke taxes. We want to know what we're taxed on because we believe in taxation.
I want to know where my money goes.
We want to understand where our money goes. That's inherent to our systems and the way that we operate, to a fault, to the point that we have tips and everything handled differently. But like when it comes actually knowing what the government is, because what is a tariff? It's a big USFG tax on all imports.
Yep.
And we ought to be able to have that itemized on the bill. And we shouldn't be blaming so-and-so company or this for the price. They shouldn't have to deal with that because Donald Trump doesn't want to have transparency over the taxation that he's levied on all of us.
And also, like, where's the money going? Because
it's funding ICE for $45 billion.
Exactly. Where's that money going?
They're taxing your iPhone to build a detention facility.
There you go. Yeah. That's because that treasury money, that money's going into the treasury.
And that's the other part of it too. Is all of these people that had jobs, they were actually doing something.
Yes, correct.
All of those agencies provide services that will still need to be provided. Now, historically, when you shut down government agencies, because this isn't the first time that this has happened, it's the first time it's happened so quickly. Usually people actually review and kind of look at where they can make smart decisions and then make smart decisions when they're making cuts. They don't just...
Right. You don't just...
bulldozer the building and be like, oh,
yeah, we'll just start over.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But... historically, what has happened is that these services don't cease, the needs that these services provide, the needs don't cease to exist.
Correct.
The services still are required. And so they just become privatized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all of that money actually just becomes more expensive because now you're paying a private company to do it. And who do you think that private company is going to be?
Well,
probably something owned by Musk.
Yes, correct.
And so they haven't saved the government any money or the American people any money. They've just taken the American people's money that was going to other American people and providing them services and gave it to Elon Musk.
Uh-huh.
And even if it's not Elon Musk, the way that these massive tech companies are set up, every single one of these services that are going to be built and privatized are going to be on Amazon Cloud Services.
And they're
not on Google Cloud Services.
They're going to be AI.
It's AI built, but also the infrastructure it won't be government controlled. It won't be secure. It won't be something that me and you own in part because we are invested in it. We have government agents. We have people. We have FOIA requests and security thing. It will be something that will be set up by some tech bro, and we'll have an app that'll be able to serve this and that. Yep. And I feel like that level of it's already killing. It's already that sort of consumerism, that sort of like, what is it with the Uber economies that everyone talks about, not where you don't have real careers. There's a specific term for it.
The technocracy?
Not technocracy, but gig economy, I think is what we're talking about.
The gig economy, yes.
But instead of a gig economy, we'll have gig government services. Or,
that's
like
crazy talk.
Or you need a social worker? It's okay, let me see if I can't just get up. But it's crazy talk, but when you really think about it, we used to have public transportation. And then we had private taxis, and the taxis became even more atomized until they became owned by big tech companies. I mean, it's a pipeline of privatization that ultimately happens almost universally at this point. And what we're going to see is disturbing because Amazon will make pennies of every single read and write transaction on their database and backend for all these private companies. And the security will be provided by them, and they will own us. They will own our services. They will own the way that they're delivered. They will control what is or isn't, and there will be little oversight. And then what people don't understand about that is that in that system, There is no democratic checks and balances
Nope.
anymore. You think we're losing checks and balances now? Wait until it's all privatized.
Yep.
You're just being
Wait until
taxed, and we're
that's
just
right.
paying these companies and contractors with no real audit oversight because the people that are elected, oh, well, I mean, they're actually also paid by Amazon and Google and all
That
the
is
different people.
correct. Look at how fast Bezos double stepped when the KKK Caroline, Trump's presser chick, she woman, I'm sorry, but when KKK Caroline came out, called it hostile and political.
Yeah, for putting the tax.
For he wanted to put what the tariff was right next to the price, and like her reaction to that, and then he folded like a freaking metal chair.
Oh, are we talking about Bezos?
Bezos.
Oh yeah, the billionaire bitch boy boot licking.
Yeah, there's so many of them, but Bezos
Oh, gosh.
especially, yes. Yeah, so he folded real quick when they were, talking about doing something like that. Timu's already doing it.
But the problem is that most people won't care about that.
Right.
And the system is designed to make them care less about it. Because, like, right now, why aren't most people actually out in the streets? Now, there's people out in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't most people? Why aren't most people that don't affiliate with the Conservative Party?
Because it's a slow drip.
Same reason why so many people don't really vote.
They don't. Not impacted them yet.
It's not impacted them, and even if it has, they haven't really noticed it too much.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Right? They've noticed things got more expensive, and they're irritated about that.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're more focused on just trying to get those extra hours so that they can still make rent and still pay all the bills or whatnot, or getting that extra raise.
Yep.
Kids got to do their things, the lessons, the after-school activity, they got in trouble for this, the overdue library book that they got to search down. The meals that got to get cooked, the laundry that's got to get done,
Right.
The car that's got to get fixed again, all of those things happening in their life, but now actually happening at a slightly intense, more frequent pace, right? Because now the car that's got to get fixed is a little bit more of an emergency because groceries have gone up $25, $50, $75 now every month, $100 every month. And so now you can't fix the car. Right now you start to notice. Now you're angry, but you don't really notice what's doing it because you haven't been paying attention.
I'm saying people are walking around.
You don't
angry,
really know why it's happening,
and they don't know why they're angry right now. There are a lot of people that are angry, and they don't know why they're angry right now.
A lot of people are struggling, and it's not through anything that they have done wrong. It's not a fault of them showing up. It's not a fault of their work, their service, their labor. And it is so frustrating. The number of people that I've talked to that are just, and also the shame involved with it, because the way that we have this sort of individualistic culture where just the idea that you're struggling means some sort of personal fault. And then all of a sudden, all of us are struggling, like not all of us, so many of us are struggling.
many, yeah.
And then all the way that we try to save face in this country, all the way that we're trying to keep up with it, it's leading to a very toxic thing where we're just marching blindly towards a cliff.
We're programmed here in America. I could speak to that because
that's what we know.
That's what we know.
Yep.
We're programmed here to compete with each other.
We are.
Right? And so
that is 100% the truth.
With that mindset attached to every interaction outside of maybe your most intimate relationships. And I mean it is a competitive social interaction with anybody outside of your most intimate relationships, and for a lot of people, even there.
Correct.
Even at the husband and wife level, or the husband and husband, wife, even in the most intimate relationships, it is still a competitive relationship at almost all times.
Oh,
we
think about
we garnish benefit And because we garnish benefit, many of us begin to garnish joy from other people's failures around us. We cannot be shown as weak because we know that we're competing. We know that somebody will take advantage of that because they will benefit from it. And we know they'll be benefit from it because we've been taught how to take advantage of that weakness and benefit it from it. Mm-hmm. We know that's what we would do. And so we don't ask for help. We don't show that we're struggling. We just take on more and more and more because anything else is failure. Anything else is a loss. Anything else puts us farther behind. Anything else is the reason why we didn't get rich, why we didn't get famous, why we didn't get that next promotion, why we don't have a nicer car or a bigger house or a boat or 3 cars. And so anything outside of just handling it, just figuring it out, just work harder, work longer, work more, grab more debt if all else fails. Anything outside of that is admitting that we're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Nailed it.
And that is not acceptable in American culture because you're going to be whatever you believe you are. And don't stop believing. You just need to work harder and try harder and compete more, and you'll get there. No matter what.
And that's why politics is also like a sport. They treat it, and like, I do not treat this like a sport.
No, but
I don't. Like, this is serious, right? But like, that's the same reason why I can walk into Lowe's this morning and have Jimmy Frost see me coming, and I'm like, and yell out my name, and then want to have it, and then want to spill tea with me about the Republican Party. And I'm like, what's going on with the Republican Party? And talk about he ran for chair in 2020, and like, and I just am standing there listening.
And I know that took forever because Jimmy Frost. Did you know back in 2020 I ran for
poor Jimmy Frost?
Chair.
I don't even know Jimmy Frost. I'm over here feeling bad for the poor fella.
He had his cane today. He just listen. I could feel bad for him, but I won't.
Please don't.
I'm not.
Not on my behalf. I'll feel bad.
And he literally looked at me today and told me how privileged women are. And I'm like, that's coming as an incel. Mm-hmm. Like, you are yes. Oh, I'm saying he is something. So anyways, but like, I couldn't help but stand there and listen to him and just be like, these people, I don't have an explanation for younger people that belong to the Republican Party. I have not. It's got to be something with capitalism, okay? But for the older people, it's like this, like, such self-importance, and like, it's like they peaked in high school. You know what I mean? And so like, this is their, like, politics is the thing that will get them noticed, or the thing that will make them friends, and the way that they move, right? With like how they make fun of, I heard a guy today on a live, a Republican, say like, oh, I bet, you know, do you still, I bet you talk to your Republican friends still. I bet you still have Republican friends. And one of the people on the panel was like, no, actually, I don't even talk to my own parents because of politics. And it was just this weird, like, the way that they were like, yeah, like, it's not real life, you know? They have, it's like,
that's exactly,
it's not real life. Like, when they're one-on-one talking to you and you're interacting in the 4D space, it's like they legitimately are like, it's not real life. You know, it's just politics.
And it's strange because I've talked about it before. I was involved with Policy Debate for a while, and there was this division inside of Policy Debate between people who saw it as a game and people who saw it as like, no, this is an educational activity. And I understand that like Policy Debate is itself kind of a model of different policy discussions and courtrooms and legal, all sorts of ways in which it does that. But it very much was frustrating to engage in conversation in the proper framework to have a debate with people that are show up educated with like preparedness, and then have them say, oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. I'm having such a rough day here. But they say this is all a game, that none of this actually matters, that what we're participating in right now is not an educational dialogue, that we're not trying to find fairness, we're not trying to find truth and veritas,
Right.
we're not trying to spread education and understanding about this and actually come to, through the crucible of debate, a better policy, a better understanding of the policy or something. It's just the game. We're just
Yeah.
going to put forward, and I think that a lot of people, and this outside of that paradigm of policy debate, they engage with politics as a game, and for some of us it is our lives, it is it is necessary. And I think that in between those two things there are people who understand the importance and the validity of it. And what's really got me upset is that the people who treat it like a game have started to mock those people.
Yeah.
We're talking about the actual expert. I'm not talking about the paid think tank experts. I'm not talking about the people at the Heritage Foundation. I'm talking about people, who spend their entire lives at universities doing research projects, working at the NIH, like people who
Yeah.
are doing real science, on social science, on
Right.
engineering, on things that are vital to us
Cancer
continuing to
research.
survive.
Yeah.
Correct.
Those people that are serious, that are real people, that actually do care. It's not a game.
No.
It's not a game for them. It's their job. It's their livelihood, and they're trying to impact and save lives. And I think that it's so frustrating, the anti-intellectualism, the way that wraps up with it's a game. It's all doesn't really matter, bro. It's just a joke. Take it as a joke. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm all for jokes. But you are not making a joke, and you have to realize that it's not a
where's
joke.
the joke? I don't think it's funny.
This isn't a game.
This isn't a game. Exactly. Like, where's the joke? Like and so that's what's like really annoying.
I was
to me.
annoyed in Policy Debate, but that was like a model. This is real life, y'all. These are people's kids, their jobs.
Yep. Yeah. No, you're right.
But people, especially, seems especially in America,
Hmm.
have always been able to disconnect from that.
I
we
mean,
we always have. I
it's
mean,
our privilege.
it's our privilege, right?
Yep.
We have all of this stuff in the grocery stores and all of the stores, and sure, some of it may not be there pretty soon, or it's going to be very expensive. So many people don't understand just how dependent we are on goods from other countries.
Yep.
But we are. We have all of these things, and it doesn't bother us in our regular daily life that somebody made it for pennies under crappy working conditions somewhere so that we can afford it. It doesn't bother us that our strawberries in December come from a place that's so terrible that people were trying to come here from there.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother us that we destabilize whole regions of the world so that our luxury goods can be cheaper, so that their people that live in these regions won't have the cohesive government and community support to have fair pay and good working conditions and more education and all of those things that would better their lives. We keep their lives in chaos so that somebody can pay them pennies in squalid conditions to make us clothes and TVs and pick us fruit so that we can eat fruit in the wintertime when we can't grow it here.
I'm going to interject on something really quickly, though, because I was just at a friend's house last night who had she had a clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
She has been working with a woman in China for, it's her person who she coordinates with to have to have her things made and stuff. Okay. And she was telling me last night that she, they FaceTime. And so she says, I don't have my clothing line anymore, but over the years, we've just become friends. So I still, but she would like, and this is just in the last couple years. Okay. So not like 10 years ago or anything, but like recently, like, she's like, I would get toured, like she would go in the factory and show me. She's like, Melissa, in China, she's like, first of all, I just need to say that she's not unhappy at all, by the way. Like, when I talk to her about like she loves living in China, first and foremost. She's like, come visit me, stay with me. And she's like, I'm so confused about going to China because some people tell me that I can't, I have to stay in designated places. And like, and then she's just telling me, no, just stay in my apartment with me. And so I'm like, you need to go. But anyways, she said like everything's digital. When she took her through the factory, she's like, the people that are working, like, she said, Melissa, it's very nice. She's like, it's not like, I'm not saying that there are not. Yeah, okay. I'm not saying that there are not, but what people do not realize, because we're still, I believe, on like 1980s, 1990s, US propaganda about China.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
What has happened is that the consumer, because Americans have I mean, we just are a nation of consumers. But I think even still, like, we're in late stage capitalism for a reason. Like, we consume at a click that is just wild, right? And what's happened is that when manufacturing and things moved over to China from the US, when we realized it was way cheaper for us to produce these things over here, they took that capital, their government took that capital, and they reinvested into infrastructure in China, and they're reinvested in their people, and they invested in housing, like their housing. They invested in upgrading factories and doing all these things. And so we're still working on this like 80s, 90s propaganda. And the reality is that the partnership with China has exponentially improved the lives of Chinese people and American people, because of our trade policies and because we can do global trade with China. I like, that is why this ignorance around the tariffs and stuff, it's mind boggling to me, because I look at it very simply, and I do understand that there is complexity in logistics and in economic, in economics in general. Right. But this is not rocket science, y'all. It's very obvious that it's been mutually beneficial to have this relationship. Oh, yeah. So, I just like,
for the two big world economies, for China and America, and for the richer countries, mm-hmm. and China, I think, as you kind of pointed out, wasn't always back in the mm-hmm. But they are now. In the richer countries, it's been great. Just like when you look at a map of the satellite picture of Earth at mm-hmm. night, mm-hmm. and the northern hemisphere mm-hmm. is all lit up,
and
the southern hemisphere's all dark, mm-hmm. But yeah, there's and that's the thing too, is China at this point, like, we're not going to bully them.
Oh my God. Like, no. And as a matter of fact, China's flexing on us so hard right now. They're like, we've been here for 5,000 years. We'll be here for 5,000 more.
They're just going to work around us.
They're literally, and that's exactly what they're doing.
And so is the rest of the world.
That's exactly what's happening.
And then what's going to happen is we're going to lose more and more of our influence.
It's already
tanking.
And it's not coming back.
I don't think it's coming back. Yeah.
Fuel dump, because there's no reason to, right? Because once
they're literally like, we'll see y'all in 2029.
Yeah, once they pull everything
I don't think that they'll see us in 2029.
I don't think so either. But that's what Europe is like as a whole. I think they're just like, yeah, we'll see you after Trump is gone. Like, I don't know how that's gonna happen, but like, I think the way they're looking at it is we'll see what happens. I mean, because who knows? I mean,
no
Trump
one
is
in this conversation or in the world knows what's going to happen.
Nobody knows.
We're 90 days in, and this is crazy.
This is crazy.
Almost 100.
No, we're 100 today. 101.
Sorry.
Yeah. They did. He had the meeting with his cabinet today, which was holy crap, what a freaking clown show that was. I kept popping in and out of that. It was like I couldn't even stomach it. It was just the sycophancy that was happening at that table. Like, I don't understand how people sit straight faced at that table. They are delusional. Something is wrong with America, y'all.
Yeah, it's a fascism.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's in a word.
It's a sickness.
But it's a sickness.
It's a sickness. It is a sickness. And I'm like, look, I'm going to straight and be like, that C-19, man, like, I don't know. It turned us into a bunch of zombies. I don't know what's happened, but people have just lost their marbles in the pandemic. Lost their marbles. They're in a cult. They don't know it, whatever. But I do want to do...
Oh, yes.
Before you get to... There's one thing I wanted to shout out, because we were talking about the actions that people can take to support the school board actions to push back against DEA here in Virginia Beach. But if you're not in Virginia Beach, if you're not in Hampton Roads, if you can't get involved here, let's say that you're out in Richmond or somewhere else, there's also a really, really important week of action coming up with the VHSL. VHSL is having a meeting, and one of our community partners in Equality Virginia is having a whole host of things. They're having a lunchtime briefing on May 1st. You can go to Equality Virginia and their website and follow them online to the socials to find out more information. But also on May 5th, they're doing a public comment training, so you can actually learn how to make comments so that you can actually become a better advocate for your community. And then on May 7th, they're actually having a VHSL executive committee meeting. So if you're up in Richmond, if you're up in Nova, if you're looking for some way, because the other thing I'd like to say about this is, you're right, we don't focus enough on the local level, and we need to be focused on the local level, but a lot of this is coming from top down. We're getting these executive edicts, whatever we want to call them, from this king, and all of a sudden the state levels are doing what they can to respond, and the local levels are doing what they can to respond, and we have MAGA influence everywhere. So we need to push back, and we need to push back strongly. So go follow Equality Virginia, go find out what they're doing, especially up in Richmond, because that's more statewide. And be sure to also focus here locally if you can.
Awesome. Thank you for that information. That's fantastic. Thank you for reminding me and reminding people that the local is super important. And just getting involved in these ways, like there's so many people like, what can I do? Well, that's what you do.
Exactly. I just wanted to put it out there if there's anyone listening.
That's amazing. So I was going to do today in one sentence. There's an amazing guy who has a email subscription that is What the Fuck Just Happened Today. And you can literally go to whatthefuckjusthappenedtoday.com. I think it's WTFjusthappenedtoday.com. And subscribe. And it is, as a neurodivergent person who gets very overwhelmed with, newsletters and like information, I like things presented to me. I need things presented to me very black and white, and very just give it to me. Give me the points, right? So he does this so well. He does this today in one sentence email, and every day it comes out around like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And so today in one sentence, the U.S. economy shrank 0.3% in the first quarter of 2025 as Trump's tariffs triggered a surge in imports and dragged down growth. Trump blamed Biden for the U.S. economy's first quarterly contraction in 3 years, saying, "This is Biden, that's not Trump." Trump suggested that American kids may have to live with 2 dolls instead of 30, as his tariffs on China drive up prices and limit imports. Trump told the U.S. Court of International Trade that judges have no authority to question his use of emergency powers to impose tariffs. A federal judge ordered the release of Columbia student Mohsen Madawi, who was detained by ICE during his citizenship interview. And Trump said he could bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back from El Salvador, but won't. That's today. I would just like to say that we, as we talked before we went live, like we knew we knew that he was going to test the Supreme Court. We just didn't know how. Like there was he needed something to go to the Supreme Court that he could then defy.
Just say no.
To just say no.
What they do.
And see what they do. And this is and listen, it is very frustrating for me to hear people who are Trump supporters refuse to acknowledge that anyone not receiving due process means everyone can not receive due process. like how they can ignore due process period. The dehumanization is there already. We're seeing it. And so this is bad. Like I don't know what's going to happen from it, but I know that like this is where I need to hear from my 2A friends, because the whole reason that you defend 2A is for things like tyranny in the government. And I don't know what else has to be said when people are just literally being scooped up. I mean, mothers separated from their children right now. Children, American citizen, 3 American citizen children were deported unlawfully. I mean, this is really terrifying. This is really terrifying stuff. So,
there's been so much of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Oklahoma. Did you guys hear about the Oklahoma family? So there was a family in Oklahoma. They had just moved into the house. It was a mom and 2 daughters. The dad was still in Maryland, who trailing behind from the move. They just moved there. Bought this house, and they had 20 ICE agents and police basically invade their home, like come into their home, made them all, the kids, stand outside in their underwear and or like their pajamas and stuff. And they took all the electronics in the house. Something about money and this person's savings. I don't know. Like couldn't get the deets on that, but like these are American citizens. They just had the wrong address.
Well, what happens when you throw billions and billions and billions of dollars into like an extrajudicial legal force that's empowered to detain people, whether they've been criminally convicted? I mean, the Lake and Riley Act, all the ways in which they have systematically undermined, like, it's bad policy built on poor implementation, built with bad intentions, like malicious bad intentions. And all it's going to do is going to lead to more and more and more cases where people will have authorities bust in their door or in their places of business and come in and harass their employees, their family, their kids. I mean, this is happening at schools. This is happening at community centers.
I just found out about 2 students in Virginia Beach that were deported today.
What?
I don't think they were not taken from school, but like they must have been deported with family. 2 different. I mean, and we have a ESL. We have a pretty significant ESL population here, like student population here. So that does not surprise me. That it's. I mean, yeah, we've been seeing ICE at bus stops and stuff for a month and a half.
Disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Disgusting. I know.
We have so much more work to do. We have so many more things we need to invest in, things we have to catch up on, opportunity we've already lost that we need to continue. We need high-speed rail. We need renewable infra. We need so many things, and we're going to invest billions of dollars in jackboot assholes. We're going to give them tactical suits and guns and boots and cars, and we're going to give them gas and health insurance, and we're going to get all so they can go around and do that sort of stuff instead of doing things that we actually need done so desperately if we're actually ever going to be competitive, if we're ever going to provide better services for our people and have a better future for our children.
I don't think they're interested in doing that.
No.
Well, then goddamn them.
I don't think they're interested in doing that at all.
I don't think they care at all about us.
Yeah. I think they're really just most interested in how they can most efficiently profit.
What profit is there? Donald Trump is 80 some odd years old. Is he? What does it even matter at a certain point? Are there not going to starving children? What is the end goal here?
He is
for them?
way too delusional to be sitting there thinking he's ever going to die.
Oh, true.
That's all the rest of what the country's thinking about.
Yeah. So, literally, like even if we post something like,
I'm sure him and Elon, Elon Musk, I'm sure, is positive that he's going to find a way to live forever. And Trump probably thinks that Elon's going to help him do that. But I'm just saying, like, they don't care about that. They're not thinking in kind of like a human way where they want everybody to have a better life. No, we're we're something that puts together things in their factory someday.
Oh yeah, like iPhones and
yeah, we're a certain amount of profit they can make. We're a certain amount of economic activity accounted for.
Yeah, it's crazy because the reproductive side of it too, like how it's so strange. They want to push babies.
This whole idea, this whole pro-natalist movement thing is so the only thing more and more population, the only thing that requires continued increase in population is profits, is financial profits. In order for an economy to grow, then it has to have more people and more people and more people creating more and more economic activity.
I know, but the thing is that the issue though is that these are also they acknowledge that AI and what comes in manufacturing, like even opening more manufacturing plants in this country, like you think that half that shit's not going to be automated?
Yeah, I mean, and Elon Musk specifically, they're building robots that can articulate things with hands and fit, like with eyes.
We literally do not need more fucking people. Like, I do not understand this push for like the pronatals. We don't fucking need more people. We just don't.
Regardless of whether the people are working or whether the people are not working, regardless of all of that, the people will be consuming. And as long as people are consuming, there'll be a monetary value attached to that consumption.
Right.
I think you're right. Yes, but I think there's another aspect of it which comes down to white supremacy and also just ethno-state and ethnocentric thinking in general.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that a lot of the fear around the loss of whiteness or the loss of the cultural or hegemonic system of whiteness and white maleness and the way that works, it leads to a lot of this sort of anxiety. It leads to a lot of that sort of really tortured thinking.
Yeah, valid. It's crazy world we living in, folks. But the Trans Family Dinner is on May 18th.
Yes, the world may be crazy, but we will find joy despite darkness. And if you would like to join us on May 18th, please go to kalescoalition.com/TFD. You can sign up through our encrypted form, come out, be in community, be known. And we may or may not have to go through some rough times, but we'll go through them together as best we can anyways.
Because, as we say every show, trans joy will defeat hate. Every time.
Every time.
Damn right.
That's right.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
This podcast is brought to you in partnership with Collective Tattoo and the Kalos Coalition. We are listener supported, so if you like the show, please consider donating to us on Patreon at patreon.com/talkingtransparency. Like, share, and subscribe across social media.